This picture here made me think of one time when I started to become sad when I lived with my children's father. I started to become depressed. I started to talk with a psycholog, not a psychiatrist, but just a person you talk to. Psychologist, I think it's called. At that time she asked me to draw a picture. I don't know what the I don't think she, maybe it was something about something that could describe my mood. And I remember I made a drawing that looked like when you were out in space and looking at the earth. I draw this round earth, and then beside of it, in the space, I draw the little island where I was born. And of course, later I can see that could have something to do with, maybe I think I had a okay view over the life. I could see what was going on the earth, and I knew what was going on my birth island. And I stood in between to choose between those two worlds. So it was a clear sign I missed my birth island. In that period, I really didn't do any action. Instead, I started a family with this man, and we got those 2 children. And after 4 years or so, I had gone into depression again. And this time it became very, very bad. Very bad. I really didn't have any lust for anything, and I could not understand why I were this depressed. But when I find a solution on this, I ended up to move back to my birth island. And after that, slowly I got better and better and better. Even though it ended up with that I got a lot of divorce problems with this man. He just wanted me away, and he didn't want all the change with the children. Yeah, some of you know the story. And that has been a problem for me ever since. It's 25 years ago. So in 25 years I have some kind of been on the moon, or at least in space, where I live on this island and I can see the earth, and I'm not proud of it. And in a way I feel I'm not a part of the earth. That's in a way a little bit how it is to live on a little small island. In a way you feel you have been allowed to pull yourself back from this crazy world, actually, and stressed world. But it was not me we should talk about here. Let's hear the line again from the first moonwalk.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Here there are some who say they have played it from back and then they have put a line up what they think he say backwards. I do not agree with him, but you can hear.
Man, respectful, no. Man, respectful,
Manual spacewalk. I more heard it like, may I have a spacewalk? No. So there we have the word no. Maybe a sentence that could signal people who say no. And we know from Michael Jackson what they call spacewalk is when you go backwards. But they say space, that's actually not the moon. But we also have the doomsday clock. Maybe I should take that in the next video, a little picture from that upload I saw. They have put the doomsday clock on 9:09 ring seconds. 90 seconds. But when we're talking about space, the man who fell to Earth, Vladimir Komarov, the first man to die in space. Komarov. Coma, we know, that's a person who is in very deep sleep. And row is not spelled exactly that way, but I have had a suspicion the last couple of years when there's so much talk about abortion, which is also in America called, what is it? Is it Wade versus Roe or something like that? But there you have the Roe. So could it be a symbolism maybe for a man who is guilty for a pregnancy that could end in an abortion? So you can say if you abort a child, you actually also die for each other. So maybe there could be a connection between it all, where the abortion are in it also. I think there are things going on with that also in the hidden. But that was a Russian. It was American who came on the moon first and make a walk, and the Russian were the first to die. The flag that has been talked so much about, this picture to me, it looks very clear like a T, and we know the T for target, so that could also be a hint to target those who are at the dark side of life, those who live on the moon. And maybe this could also look like an O, and TO in Danish means two. And we see the star corner with the stars. There are shadow over the one corner, so there could be a little hint to the 9 rings also. And if it is an O, it's also one ring, target one ring. Don't know. But Hitler, there are said many things about Hitler, but there also been talked about that maybe he was the first man on the moon. So that could be a hint to what he was doing and the mood he was in. Maybe there's been something dark going on inside of him that made him do these awful thing that was done. Here's a lot also with lunar landing, and as far as I have understood, they also said he ended up to commit suicide. And that's also what they say, many targeted people, they say they feel they are pressed into, in the end, commit suicide. And this fine line, we have heard many times, it's easier to fool people than to convince them they have been fooled. And I like this sentence very much, because when I woke up and understood what's going on is not right, it's not okay, it's not like they want it to look like, then I suddenly felt I was living in a parallel world to the rest of humanity, because they kept on believe what system says, what the truth, and still believe that system only wants the good for the citizens. And for every day ever since, it seriously was clear for me, ever since I have only become more and more educated in that, wow, we have been fooled much more than we have had imagination to think could be possible. Let's take one where we come a little bit further in this moonwalk.